Today we will be talking about motivation, stress, and emotion by Autumn Graham. Motivation is the general desire or willingness of someone to do something and or the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. Stress is a state of mental or emotional strain or tension resulting from adverse or very demanding circumstances. Emotion is a natural instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others. The approaches of motivation. First, you have instinct, then drive reduction, then arousal, incentive, humanistic, and self-determination. To get a better understanding, instinct approaches is when all humans have the same motivations due to our similar biological programming. An example of this would be a human's instinct to reproduce. Drive reduction approaches is when all organisms have certain needs for our survival. This is a major cause of our learning and behavior. There are two types of drives that we have. We have primary drive and acquired drive. An example of primary drive would be survival needs such as hunger and thirst. Acquired drive is learned through experience or conditioning such as the need for money or social approval. Arousal. Our levels of arousal determine our performance. An example of this would be anxiety on test day may cause bad results on your test. Incentive. Incentive is also known as being a motive. Behavior is determined if there is a reward. An example of this, to get a better understanding, would be positive reinforcement. To think back on our previous chapters, positive reinforcement would be if a child would get a cookie if they eat their dinner. Humanistic. Self-actualization is a realization or fulfillment of one's talents and potentialities, considered as a drive or need present in everyone. An example of this would be the drive to become the fastest runner on the track team. Self-determination. This is the process by which a person controls their own life. An example of this would be working out to better yourself and to reach a certain weight goal. The three elements of emotion. You have physiology, behavioral, and subjective. Physiology would be when a person experiences an emotion and arousal. An arousal is created by the sympathetic nervous system. An example of this would be heart rate change, breathing change, and the pupils dilate. Behavioral would be when emotion creates different facial expressions and movements. Some examples of this would be frowning, smiling, being sad, shaking hands, fighting, kissing. Subjective would be labeling an emotion. This would actually be saying, like, if you're angry, you're scared, you feel happy today, you're sad. Those are some emotions. Stressors. Stress-causing events are called stressors. Exhibit A. A chemical or biological agent, an environmental condition, external stimulus, or an event that causes stress to an organism. There are two types of stressors. There's distress and eustress. Distress is unpleasant stressors in which it may cause hurt or pain. An example of this would be a family member being sick. Eustress is a pleasant stressor. This may cause you to perform better and make smarter decisions. Examples of this would be having a new job or a new marriage, something that makes you actually happy. The different kinds of stress. You have acute, episodic, and chronic. Acute is the most common. It can be good and bad. Example of a good acute stress is having to get the thrill of sliding down a hill. Example of bad stress, acute stress is having to get an assignment done. Episodic would be frequent acute stress. There's always something that seems to go wrong, so it may cause short tempers, irritability, and anxiety. Example of this would be if you're always in a rush but you also always seem to be late. Chronic stress. It's never a good kind of stress. It destroys the body, the mind, and life over time. It may be stemmed from childhood problems or ways of life. Example of this would be living in poverty or having a bad job. Your attitude also will determine your kind of stress as well, as you see in the picture. And these are my references. Thank you.